Watch this video every day and change your life. Yes, you heard me right. There's a chapter in your life that no one talks about, a chapter that everyone fears but secretly needs. I'm talking about the lonely chapter, the one where it feels like the world has turned its back on you, the one where you're standing alone and the path ahead seems endless. This chapter isn't about being abandoned or giving up. It's about discovering something extraordinary within yourself, something that no applause, no crowd, and no external validation can ever give you. It's about becoming powerful, disciplined, and unshakable. The kind of person who doesn't need the world to cheer them on because you've learned to cheer for yourself. You see, every person who has achieved greatness has walked this path. They've faced nights where doubt whispered in their ear, days when fear tried to convince them to quit, and moments when it felt easier to give up than to push forward. And yet, they persevered. They embraced the solitude, they leaned into the struggle, and they came out stronger, wiser, and more resilient. This chapter isn't just a phase, it's a crucible. It's where your character is forged, your purpose is sharpened, and your vision becomes unbreakable. So why does the lonely chapter matter to you? Because this is the space where you strip away all distractions, all noise, and all expectations that others have placed on you. It's where you begin to understand your true self, your strengths, your weaknesses, your passions, and your fears. It's where you learn that your worth isn't determined by likes, followers, or recognition, but by your commitment to your own goals and your willingness to carry the weight of your dreams even when no one else will. And yes, it's hard. There will be days when every step forward feels like moving through quicksand, when the loneliness is heavy, and when the temptation to quit is strong. But that heaviness, that is what builds power. That is what builds resilience. That is what builds a version of you that nothing can shake. Let's talk about the first truth of the lonely chapter. Discipline outweighs motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like waves on a beach. You might wake up feeling unstoppable one day and ready to conquer the world, but tomorrow you could be weighed down by fatigue, doubt, or fear. Discipline, on the other hand, is unrelenting. Discipline is what keeps you moving forward when every fiber of your body wants to stay in bed. Discipline is what turns small actions into massive transformations. And here's the secret. The lonely chapter teaches you discipline because there's no one else there to hold you accountable. You either do or it doesn't get done. No excuses, no shortcuts, no handouts. Just you and your commitment to yourself. The second point is learning to love your own company. Most people fear being alone because they mistake solitude for loneliness. But solitude is a gift. In these quiet moments, without distractions or external pressures, you can finally hear your own voice. You can ask yourself the hard questions. Who am I? What do I truly want? What am I willing to fight for? This is where self-awareness begins. This is where your inner strength awakens. By spending time with yourself, by embracing the silence instead of fearing it, you begin to cultivate a relationship with yourself that is unbreakable. And when you build that inner foundation, nothing and no one can shake it. The third truth is fear becomes your teacher. When you're alone, fear comes knocking at your door constantly. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. But here's the thing. Fear isn't your enemy. It's a signal. It's a reminder that you're growing, that you're pushing past comfort zones, and that you're stepping into the person you were always meant to become. In the lonely chapter, you learn to face fear head-on, to acknowledge it and to use it as fuel. Every time you act despite fear, every time you take a step when your instincts scream stop, you're rewiring your mind, strengthening your resolve, and shaping your destiny. Now, don't mistake this chapter for misery or defeat. It's not about suffering for the sake of suffering. It's about transforming struggle into power. It's about understanding that the quiet, painful, lonely moments are where growth happens. When you push through, you emerge not just successful, but transformed. You become someone who doesn't crumble under pressure, someone who doesn't need constant validation, someone who can hold their own against the storms of life. And this is why the lonely chapter is so critical, because it separates those who try from those who achieve, those who hope from those who conquer. So take a deep breath and embrace it. Embrace the struggle, the silence, the solitude. Treat each lonely day as an opportunity to sharpen your mind, fortify your spirit, and build the kind of character that will carry you through every challenge ahead. Know that you are not alone in your journey. Every great leader, innovator, and dreamer has walked this path, and if they can emerge stronger, so can you. This chapter isn't the end of your story, it's the beginning of the most powerful version of you. Now that we've explored the foundation of the lonely chapter, discipline, self-awareness, and transforming fear into power, let's dive deeper into the next layer of this journey. Because surviving the lonely chapter is one thing, but thriving in it, growing in it, and turning it into a launch pad for your greatest achievements, that's where the magic truly happens. The fourth truth of this chapter is resilience is built, not given. Life doesn't hand out resilience like a trophy. It's forged in moments of struggle, in moments when everything seems stacked against you. When you're standing alone, carrying your own weight, facing challenges without someone to catch you if you fall, you learn to push through. You discover that even when everything inside you says quit, you can dig deeper, find another ounce of energy, and take one more step. And with every step, you're not just moving forward, you're building a foundation of resilience that will support you for the rest of your life. This isn't just mental toughness, this is a deep, unshakable strength that becomes part of your identity. The fifth point is focus becomes your superpower. In the noisy world around us, distractions are everywhere. Social media, opinions, pressures, obligations. When you're alone, you strip all that away. There's no one to impress, no one to meet expectations for except yourself. This clarity allows you to channel your energy into what truly matters. Focus isn't just about doing tasks. It's about choosing the right battles, prioritizing what will move your life forward, and ignoring the noise. In the lonely chapter, you learn to control your attention like a laser, honing it on your vision, your purpose, and your goals. And when you master focus, you gain a kind of power that most people never experience. They chase fleeting distractions while you build something lasting. The sixth truth is grit will define your outcome. Grit is more than determination. It's persistence in the face of adversity, consistency when motivation fades, and the courage to keep going even when progress seems invisible. In the lonely chapter, there's no applause, no validation, and often no immediate reward. That's when grit matters most. Every day you show up, every time you push forward despite the doubts and the setbacks, you're reinforcing a mindset that refuses to settle for mediocrity. Grit transforms obstacles into stepping stones, setbacks into lessons, and hard work into results. And here's the key. People who develop grit in solitude are unstoppable when they step back into the world. Seventh, self-trust becomes your anchor. When you're alone, you can't rely on external approval. You can't depend on someone else to tell you you're doing the right thing. That's why learning to trust yourself is critical. You learn to make decisions based on your convictions, your knowledge, and your instincts. You stop seeking permission to pursue your goals and start giving yourself the green light. Every choice you make in this chapter, every time you act despite uncertainty, builds a stronger connection with your own judgment. And once self-trust is established, no setback or criticism can derail you. You've become your own compass, and that is a power few ever achieve. Eighth, creativity and problem-solving flourish in solitude. When no one else is around to offer solutions, when there's no team, no mentor, no friend to brainstorm with, you're forced to rely on your own ingenuity. The lonely chapter challenges you to think critically, adapt quickly, and innovate under pressure. The problems you face alone teach you lessons that no textbook can provide. They force you to see patterns, test ideas, and trust your instincts. By the time you emerge from this chapter, your ability to solve problems under pressure becomes a defining skill, one that sets you apart in every area of life. And finally, ninth, gratitude and perspective deepen. It's easy to take support, encouragement, and external validation for granted. When you navigate life alone, you learn to value every small victory, every lesson, and every moment of progress. You start to appreciate the quiet, the freedom, and the growth that comes from walking your path independently. Gratitude doesn't mean complacency. It means recognizing that even in struggle, there is power. It means understanding that the lonely chapter is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable than you ever imagined. These truths combined create a profound transformation. The lonely chapter isn't a punishment or a burden, it's an opportunity. An opportunity to build resilience that nothing can break, to sharpen focus that cuts through distractions, to cultivate grit that pushes you through the darkest days, to trust yourself unconditionally, to innovate under pressure, and to embrace gratitude for every step of your journey. This chapter is a laboratory for your soul, a training ground for greatness, and a crucible where ordinary people become extraordinary. But here's the thing. Surviving the lonely chapter requires more than knowing these truths. It requires action. You must consciously choose to embrace solitude instead of fearing it. You must practice discipline even when motivation falters. You must push through fear, take responsibility for your growth, and commit to showing up every single day. It's not easy. There will be moments when you question your choices, when the loneliness feels suffocating, and when doubt tries to convince you that you're on the wrong path. But remember, every great achiever has faced the same trials. Every innovator, every leader, every dreamer has walked the path of isolation, and they emerge stronger because of it. So if you're watching this and you're in your lonely chapter right now, know this: the struggle you feel is shaping you. The solitude you experience is teaching you. The weight you carry alone is forging strength you cannot buy or borrow. Embrace it, own it, and let it transform you. Because when you come out on the other side, you won't just have survived, you'll have grown into a version of yourself that is powerful, unstoppable, and fully capable of achieving greatness. By now, you've discovered the power of discipline, focus, grit, self-trust, resilience, creativity, and gratitude. You've learned that the lonely chapter is not a place of weakness, but a crucible for growth, a place where you forge the strongest version of yourself. But there's one more layer we need to explore, because the lonely chapter isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving and turning your solitude into unstoppable momentum. The 10th truth is clarity of purpose emerges in solitude. When the world is quiet and no one is watching, you have the space to examine your values, your priorities, and your goals. You start asking yourself the hard questions. What truly matters to me? Who do I want to become? What am I willing to fight for? This clarity is invaluable because it guides every decision you make going forward. When you know your purpose, no distraction or external opinion can pull you off course. The lonely chapter gives you that gift, the gift of self-direction, self-definition, and an unwavering focus on what truly matters. The 11th point is your courage is magnified. When you face challenges alone, fear has no one to hide behind. You can't lean on someone else to shield you or validate your choices. Every step you take despite fear strengthens your courage muscle. It becomes easier to take risks, to speak your truth, and to pursue opportunities that once felt impossible. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's action in spite of it. And the lonely chapter forces you to act every single day, even when your inner voice says, I can't. The 12th truth is the power of persistence compounds over time. Every lonely day, every struggle, every effort you put in when no one is watching adds up. It may feel invisible, insignificant, or even frustrating in the moment, but over weeks, months, and years, the results are undeniable. The lonely chapter teaches you that real transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's the consistent, patient, persistent effort, the brick by brick building of your foundation that leads to the extraordinary outcomes you desire. As we continue, remember this: the lonely chapter is also where you discover your inner peace. When you're not chasing validation, not caught up in others' expectations, and not distracted by the noise of the world, you find a sense of calm. You learn to be content with progress instead of perfection, with effort instead of applause. You learn that peace isn't found in crowds or recognition, it's found in self-acceptance and self-mastery. That peace is the secret ingredient that allows you to keep moving forward without burnout, doubt, or frustration. The 14th truth is you cultivate empathy and understanding. Being alone teaches you what it means to struggle, what it means to face fear and doubt without support. That empathy doesn't just help you understand others, it makes you a better leader, a better friend, and a better version of yourself. When you've walked through your lonely chapter, you carry with you a depth of understanding that allows you to connect with others in a way that superficial experiences never could. 15th, Your achievements are redefined. In solitude, success is no longer measured by social standards, approval, or recognition. You begin to define it on your own terms. Every goal you set, every milestone you reach is aligned with your values, your purpose, and your vision. This personal definition of success is powerful because it's immune to criticism, envy, or opinion. It's authentic, it's lasting, and it's deeply fulfilling. The final truth is that your story inspires others, often without you even realizing it. When you embrace the lonely chapter, overcome it, and emerge stronger, you become an example for anyone who struggles silently. You show the world that greatness doesn't require constant applause or support. It requires persistence, courage, and self-belief. Your journey becomes a beacon, proving that anyone can rise above fear, doubt, and isolation to achieve extraordinary things. So, how do you harness all these truths? First, commit to your journey every single day. Treat the lonely chapter not as a curse, but as an opportunity. Wake up each morning with intention, reminding yourself why you're doing this, what you're building, and who you're becoming. Second, embrace discomfort. Growth never happens in comfort zones. Lean into the challenges, confront fear, and use solitude as your training ground. Third, document your progress. Reflect on lessons learned, victories won, and obstacles overcome. Journaling, recording thoughts, or even sharing your journey online can solidify your growth and inspire others. As you navigate this chapter, keep in mind that it is temporary but transformative. It doesn't last forever, but its lessons last a lifetime. You are not alone in experiencing this. Every great leader, innovator, and dreamer has walked this path. The lonely chapter is where they built the strength to lead, the courage to innovate, and the discipline to succeed. And the same applies to you. Your solitude is your forge. Your challenges are your tools. Your commitment is your blueprint. Before we conclude, remember the most important message. Embrace the lonely chapter, own it, and let it transform you into the powerful version of yourself that you were always meant to be. Celebrate every small victory, learn from every struggle, and continue to push forward with unwavering determination. Share your experiences, inspire others, and never forget that this chapter is not about weakness. It's about preparation, transformation, and ultimate triumph. So if you've made it this far, take a moment to reflect. Commit to facing your fears, building resilience, and thriving in your solitude. Comment below with a 100 if you are part of the 1% of people who are actively improving themselves every day. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your journey so we can grow together. Because the lonely chapter isn't the end, it's the beginning of your most powerful self. And when you embrace it fully, there's no limit to what you can achieve. Wishing you the best life possible at every age.